Speed. All right. Now we're good. Now you have a snap on all of them, so you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sync?
Sync.
That's smart.
That's right.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Dave Skaff, and we are at Studio C inside In Oak in Jingletown, Oakland, California. We're joined with Brian Kenny and Jason Crawford, and we're talking about some songs from the EP, What Happened in Sweden Last Night, and the larger collection, Topical Tunes for Troubled Times. Brian, why don't you tell me about the origins of some of your music?
Well, I mean, with this particular collection, I've been writing songs since I was 15, so it's been 30-some years. And this particular collection, a lot of these songs were written in 2003, Dave. And I thought they were topical then, and then obviously events have transpired to where they're suddenly becoming more topical. The eponymous song on this collection was written in 2017 in February, and Jason wrote the music. How long had you been carrying that music, Jason?
Ironically, since 1986.
Since the Reagan years.
Sure.
Music from the Reagan years, lyrics from the Trump years. Still topical.
Yeah, there's a parallel line there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, would you say that these are like your style of music?
Um,
Or deviate from that at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I think the great thing about working with you is that it has taken a whole other aspect of music and different influences and injected it into my process, and actually working with you in production too on your stuff has really been illuminating. So I see your process, I see how you write, see your influences, and the little things that you did on Topical tunes that put it over the top, you know, are like the little wizardry I've been able to learn. So
Thanks, Brian.
yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's been great. So yeah, I've been writing for a long time, but it's always been evolutionary. My tendency falls a little more in the probably Merle Haggard and rock and roll, a little bit of jazz, maybe, I don't know. But
Good company to be in.
yeah, well, I just think as a Californian and a writer, I've been involved in agriculture for a long time. I kind of naturally just settled there. And I got to meet him a couple times, and it was a good, yeah, outstanding. It was cosmic, really.
Would you guys play a couple of songs for us? And
Sure.
Before you do, maybe tell me just a little bit about the first song that you did, which is Savages.
Yeah, well, Savages is, I would say it's probably a protest song, I think. I don't know. It felt that way when I wrote it. I think there are times in life where you look at what's happening and it's disgusting, viscerally disgusting. And I believe in America as a concept, and I believe that it's been flawed in its execution from its inception. But at the end of the day, it did serve as a place, a melting pot, a harbor from tyranny, where folks could seek refuge regardless of their race, their credo, or their creed. And there's something that happened with the 2016 election, but it started a long time before that. The worm turned, and we could go, it's sociological at a certain point in time, but there's been a thread through all of America of ugliness and of the other being less than. And what Savages stands as is a repudiation of that in, I say, robust terms. And I think it's a punk song. Ultimately, it's a love song for what America could be, and that's why I wrote it.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, let's play it. Yeah, let's do it. With no further ado. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you think they care about culture? Do you think they care about art? Do you think they care about history? Do you think they care about heart? Do you think they care about freedom? Do you think they want to foster liberty? When was the last time you heard them say that you're living in the land of the free? a traitor and nearly made me spit my teeth. But now that the code's on Main Street, there's a twinge of fear in me. And I'm a white male, so they don't think that that should be. But I strive to keep my mind open and my heart full of empathy. But the ugliness of these times makes me feel the ugliness in me. Hear the contempt for fact and rational thought and truth and morality. It's dragging me down and breaking my will and taxing my sanity. And that's what makes them savages. See the hatred that they breed. They've awoken a beast gestating within the guts of civility. You can live in the land of the brave because it serves them in attainment and destiny. Don't look now that the 40s are digging a grave for what America used to be. Don't look now that the 40s are digging a grave for what America used to be. Well, bullies lie and they intimidate by bludgeoning those that they can. And thugs, well, they do crazier things than the decent would think they can. And leaderships disappoint your constituency at a rate they can understand. And disappointed folks often make decisions that they eventually regret. And that's what makes them savages. They fed on that distemperament, and they built the fire with fear and hate and called it a movement. It was powered by birtherism and hatred for immigrants, and the disabled and the refugees too. And they fed it with common pizza cake crunch instead of rainbow stew. Try to love one another, or savages we will be. Treat the other as your brother, or savages we will be. We're not the enemy is on top. And they want us to hate each other. Yeah, they want all the love to stop. What do they want us to do? And they want us to hate each other. Yeah, they want all the love to stop. Well, we're not going to do that, are we? No, we're not
That's
gonna
a
do
great
that.
song.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Before I have to play the next song, maybe tell me a little bit more about the collaboration between you two and If There's a Day. And it seems like it spreads across several different kind of genres of music.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the beauty of working with Jason, and I think it bears mentioning that we met at a pool party on the 4th of July, Dave.
Where everybody was playing music, starting with you.
Well, I don't know that everybody was.
Almost.
Almost.
Real
Yes.
close.
The first year it wasn't everybody,
The
but
seed
this
had
is
been
the,
planted.
yeah, the seed had been planted. So, but I mean that there's a thing that happened for me meeting you, and then you saying, "Hey, thanks for getting me playing again. I want to make your record." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I thought about that, and I'd worked with one or two other producers, and you know, I have a sense of imperfection as being part of my product. I don't know why. Probably because I love Buddy Holly records and those old Hank Williams Sr. records where they recorded with a stereo mic and the mic was the mixer, and it's
Very
just
simply done.
yeah, very. And so,
But not simple music.
yeah, not simple music. And Rudy Van Gelder, all those Impulse records, those were recorded in his parents' living room, and they're like some of the best albums ever. Hartman and Coltrane, I mean, that's like, so I thought, okay, Jason wants to make this record, so I'm gonna say yes. I think I told you, I'm gonna say yes. My job is to say yes to whatever you suggest, and your job is to be reasonable with your suggestions, right? And
Well, it was easy because when I heard your voice and I heard your songs, everything being very lyrically driven, and you know, it has there's a clear narrative,
yeah,
and a lot of life experience, and it came down for me somewhere between, you know, Frank Sinatra meets like Beatles Revolution White Album era, maybe with a little Pink Floyd, with like, you know, some Western.
yeah,
You know?
exactly, Western music, right?
Sort of.
That's my lineage.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would say, like, when I played in Darcy Cutter Chris was a great steel player, always had a day job, but I played in his band. He was in his 70s, I was in my 20s, and that's where I learned how to play Western music. And he told me one time, he always called me by my last name. He goes, "Kenny, you ugly sucker, no matter how hard you try to be country, you'll always be a rockabilly." And it kind of hurt. I wrote a song about this. You can get it on Spotify. It's a Mean Season. Put you on steady. But he said it, and it was clearly sincere. And he said, "You'll always be a rockabilly." I'm like, oh. And then he says, "But the people love you, and you heal them, and that's why you're always welcome on the bandstand."
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
so to answer your question, what it did working with Jason, first of all, there's validation when there's somebody that wants to do something for you, and it's coming from a sincere place. There's clearly no profit motive in my music. So I've been doing this 30 years. And
There's just belief, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, I mean, there's belief, and that's the thing. You get that shot of belief, and then ultimately what I realized is that I've been doing my thing. I've been making my own records for 20 years, and it's time to invest my soul into somebody else's vision for my music, and to say yes and to just let go. And you go through all these things when you're working with somebody of trust, and luckily was at a point in my life where I learned the lesson that somebody doesn't earn your trust, you have to give it to them. You have to give it to them, and if you don't give it to them, they're never going to earn it. So
Right, there's a leap of faith.
there's a leap of faith. There's always a leap of faith. So that's really, Dave, that was what it was about, was take a leap of faith and put it out there. And, and there was a moment in the process where I made the first set of songs based on 12-string guitar, very trippy, lots of drums, like 2 sets of drums and all this. So you heard it. And then you said, "Those are great pre-production demos. We're gonna save those for the 25th anniversary extended release,
Right.
for the diehard fans, and let's do it again. Let's strip it down." What did you say? What was your theory? You
Just,
probably say it better than me.
it was a production value. Don Fleming, producer back east, taught me, and it was do it with, one guitar and one vocal and, accompaniment, bass and drums, and get it right there.
Yeah.
And then add the mustard and the lettuce.
Right.
Chocolate frosting.
It's chocolate frosting. It's a Scooby-Doo pizza. It's got chocolate frosting and
Eventually,
anchovies.
but be able to strip it down to just what is the message and what is the bare bones of the vehicle that'll get it there.
Yeah.
To the destination.
And the thing that I also appreciate about your style, production-wise, is that you didn't ever try to get me to cut syllables out of my songs. Every other producer I ever worked with says, "You got too many words in your songs, so you need to cut the words out," and which is always a huge turnoff for me as a lyricist. I know that if I made 8 more drafts of these songs, I could boil it down to bouillon. But sometimes you need journalism. You don't need a poem, right? Somebody's got to write the songs and I think that's why the songs keep getting truer, is because it's not like the times just got offensive. I mean, AIDS in the 80s, if you don't think that was offensive, folks, go back and look at a little history. People were locked up for their sexual orientation and left to die. That's offensive. It's not like this just started. So anyway, that's my defense for writing lots of words.
There's some rhyming prose that are really informative, and again, the narrative is complete. It's a
circuitous sometimes. But if there's a they, I had the lyrics, the first half of the lyrics, I had it, because I make an album every February. It's basically demos, but there's a thing called the RPM Challenge, Record Production Month Challenge. So write and record, or I usually cheat, and I have some ideas that I've got banked. So it's, I guess I'm not a true RPMer, but whatever. I've done it 11 times, so sue me. But I had these. I walk the dog every night. That's when I do a lot of my songwriting in my head, and I just had like everybody's talking about they're gonna do this, and they want you to do this, and then I thought, okay, if there's a they, what do they want really? If there's a they, what do they? They want us to hate each other. They want us to not agree. They want us to focus on the minuscule bullshit that we don't agree on, and they want us to want to kill each other over it. And you know what? It's happening.
That's what's happening right now.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And I was writing that song, and I was thinking about how the lies that get promulgated, once they get on you, like if you've ever had an argument with somebody that's political these days, all the bullshit spider webs that you get sucked into, and it's just like how do you go back and correct 750 half-truths in an argument? You can't.
Yeah.
And once you get it on you, it's like the grease from a fry trap. If you ever worked in a short order, it's sticky and you can't get it off, and it's like there forever. And if it gets on your clothes, it's never.
Ruined.
It's ruined.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to the cultural fabric of this country. That's why people are protesting right now. It's because that fry trap grease has kind of gotten everywhere. And you know what? There's a lot of dirty fingerprints on history. They're all over it. And there's sometimes a light goes on and everybody sees them. And it's just this moment where, what do you do? It's like, you know, I remember I learned about internment camps, not in high school, not in grammar school, at UC Berkeley as a freshman.
Here in California, Japanese and
Yes! And I called my grandma, who has been straight with me about everything in my entire life to that point. I said, Grandma, my Grandma Deering, Grandma Veronica, why did you not tell me about the internment camps? And she said, because it was horrible, and I didn't want you to have to know that.
Wow.
So,
Just one of those things that was not talked about.
So anyway, if there's a what they don't want is for us to go find somebody that we disagree with and say, nope, we're not going there. We're going to focus on your humanity, and I love you for it. And there's no play in their playbook, if there's a they, for widespread senseless acts of selfless love. There's no play for it. That's anarchy. You don't have to loot, folks. Don't hate the person that has a Trump hat on. Don't. What's it going to do? It does no good. You got to find something to love about him.
It seems just a little too sensible.
Yeah, well, I should. So I've got Cassandra syndrome.
So let's hear the song.
Well, I think we can do that.
Yeah, sure.
And Jason wrote the music. Dom helped.
I'll try to remember how to play.
Well, I think it'll come back. All right. One, two, three. If there's a they don't want us creating. They don't want you thinking. They only want you to consume. If there's a they don't want us agreeing. They want us to be fighting. They want us hating. They don't want us to love. If there's a they don't want to be questioned. So they spread misinformation, thick and sticky like fried trap grease. We try to wash it away, but nothing will ever be clean. Nothing will ever be clean. Nothing will ever be clean. If there's a they, we'll never be satisfied until we're sure. We not only pretend they don't exist, but we forgot what the conversation was about in the first place. There's nothing they won't try in order to make you feel satisfied. They keep you petrified and locked into the seemingly self-created choice of the deep personal truth that they know may not actually exist, even though they are controlling everything you can conceive of in the first place. Controlling everything you can conceive of in the first place. They are controlling everything you can conceive of in the first place. You can't conceive of everything you can conceive of. Yeah.
Thank you both. That was great.
Thank you.
Before we go, would you mind just teasing us out with what you got coming next, both of you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. You're in the thick of it.
Well, I mean, the project I'm most excited about right now is your record. So I have to say, yeah, I hope it's the one you're most excited about too.
Well, your EP that just dropped is awesome.
Thank you.
And it's so fun to share it with people and to, the funny thing, Dave, is that Brian's songs just are getting more and more poignant as the world gets crazier. And so I think there's just like this real connection of, the collective unconscious or collective emotionality or spirituality of humanity and, what we're tapping into lyrically. That's really fun to find that and to be reinformed and reassured or reconnected to that as these songs mature, and they're still in their infancy. But this song "Goodness Knows" that we produced together, that's going to come out in July. It's fun. It's just a feel-good jam, and it's about when you're in pain and you can feel it in your bones, and somehow figuring out in that deep loneliness that you're not alone, and how to do that, whether it's with other people or just with your own heart. And it is a lonely time. It is a scary lonely time. And so
For
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
And we've both been working on Michael James's new record.
that's a really
That's
interesting project.
It's amazing.
Shelter in Place.
Shelter in Place.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It is gonna blow everybody's minds.
Can't wait.
Musicality. He's one of the producers on your record. That's how I got to meet him, and it's just been tremendous. And so, Dave, what I'm working on is I'm being grateful every day for all these incredible people I've met on this journey, and yourself included, and then we just try to pay it forward. So.
That's right. Pick somebody, make it special, surprise them, have fun.
Yep, make it matter. Be grateful for
more of same. So
Yeah.
it sounds like we'll probably be back here in a couple of weeks and we'll talk a little more in depth about Jason's upcoming release.
That's it's gonna be fun. I look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be
Great.
fun.
Right.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you both.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Be well. Thanks.